Even if you're sweating it out at the gym, if you neglect your diet, you might end up like a paper wrap machine, far from the dream physique you're aiming for. Let's review some common dietary mistakes to see if you've fallen into any of these traps. Make sure to check yourself against these points. Eating small, frequent meals. Some people believe that eating small amounts throughout the day, often 5 to 6 meals, can boost metabolism. But does it really make a difference? Meta-analyses show that the impact of eating smaller, frequent meals versus fewer, larger meals on daily calorie expenditure is negligible. In other words, how often you eat or how much you eat per meal doesn't matter as long as your total caloric intake is fixed. Your metabolism and body response remain consistent. Overcomplicating weight loss. Weight loss is actually quite simple. You just need to burn more calories than you consume. The specifics, like whether to eat organic vegetables or not, or if broccoli is better than cauliflower, or whether to eat red or white meat, don't really matter. Focus on creating a calorie deficit and combine it with strength training and high protein intake for fat loss. Make sure to include plenty of meat, eggs, and dairy in your diet, and if necessary, use protein powders. If you're not losing fat, it's unlikely due to factors like the type of food. It's more likely you're not maintaining a proper caloric deficit. Clean eating misconceptions. Eating clean doesn't mean you can eat as much as you want just because the food is clean. Some people use clean eating as an excuse to overeat, thinking that as long as the food is clean, quantity doesn't matter. But the principle remains the same. Overconsumption of calories can still lead to weight gain. Fruit myths. Don't fall for the myth that fruit is always a healthy choice without considering its calorie and sugar content. Everything we eat boils down to calories, proteins, and fats. Whether it's rice, pasta, meat, or fruit, it's just a different form of energy. Be mindful of the caloric and sugar content of fruits. Relying on feelings for dietary judgments. Judging your diet based on how you feel can lead to underestimating or overestimating your calorie intake. The correct approach is to check food labels, plan your meals in advance, and track your daily intake. Using a food scale and a tracking app helps you know exactly how many calories you're consuming. It may seem tedious at first, but once you gain experience, you'll be able to estimate your intake accurately without weighing food. Experience helps train your intuition, especially if you eat the same foods regularly. If others have started out overweight, but you follow the 5 steps I'm about to outline, you can get back to your ideal version. Here's the guidance. Step 1. Progressive strength training. The only truth for muscle growth is progressive strength training. Focus on compound exercises like squats, bench presses, deadlifts, pull-ups, rowing, and shoulder presses. Don't train your entire body on the same day. It will be overwhelming. If you have enough time, use a 3-day split, training each muscle group twice a week. If not, consider a 4-day or 5-day split, training each muscle group once a week. Choose a weight you can lift at least 6 times. Try to increase the reps each session. 7, 8, 9, 10. Once you can comfortably do 9 reps, increase the weight. Repeat this process to steadily increase strength, endurance, and muscle mass, leading to a better physique and a higher metabolism. Step 2. Daily caloric intake. Consume 110% of your basal metabolic rate BMR calories daily. If you don't know your BMR, use a BMR calculator. For example, if your BMR is 2,500 calories, you should eat 2,750 calories daily. Out of these 2,750 calories, you need 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. If you weigh 100 kilograms, that means 150 grams of protein, which accounts for 600 calories. Additionally, you should get at least 20%-30% of your calories from fat, as fats are crucial for hormones like testosterone. The remaining calories should come from carbohydrates to ensure good training quality and emotional stability. Step 3. Track your intake. Monitor your intake of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Whether you eat rice, steamed buns, noodles, sweet potatoes, corn, beef, eggs, hot pot, grilled meat, or pig trotters, it's all about balancing carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Make sure your calorie intake and macronutrient ratios match your goals. Energy balance is key. Step 4. Recalculate your diet. Many people wonder why their weight stops changing after losing a certain amount. If you've been following the first 3 steps well, you might reach this stage because your calorie needs decrease as your weight drops. For example, losing 20 pounds will reduce the calories you burn while climbing stairs. Use a BMR calculator to adjust your caloric intake and repeat the previous steps. If you still have questions, feel free to message me. Whether you're aiming to build muscle or lose fat, consuming sufficient protein will make your efforts more effective. Even if you indulge or slack off in training, protein can help mitigate the impact. However, many people mistakenly believe that only protein is important while fat and carbohydrates should be minimized. This is misleading and can lead to issues with fat gain and overall performance. Here are some key points. Protein's role and misconceptions. High protein intake is crucial, but overemphasis on protein while neglecting fats and carbohydrates can lead to problems. For example, protein bars that are high in protein often contain a lot of carbohydrates and fats, which can lead to excessive calorie intake and weight gain. High-quality protein powders are a better option. For instance, Fuzz offers 16 grams of protein with reduced fat content 3. Freegan includes a protein matrix and high leucine content, essential for muscle growth, without adding extra burden through complex flavors or processing. Protein recommendations. The daily recommended protein intake varies based on different groups of people. Protein helps manage hunger, increase muscle mass, and has a higher thermic effect compared to carbohydrates and fats. However, consuming excessive protein can still lead to weight gain if it exceeds your total daily caloric expenditure. The body will convert excess amino acids into glucose, similar to how it converts carbohydrates, and excess glucose can be converted into fatty acids and triglycerides, leading to fat accumulation. Balance is key. Despite protein's benefits, it's not the preferred energy source for the body. A diet overly focused on high protein with low carbohydrates and fats can decrease your training quality, especially for anaerobic activities that rely on carbohydrates. Proper fat intake is also essential for maintaining testosterone levels and brain function. Consuming less than 20% of your total daily intake from fats can negatively impact muscle growth and fat loss. Additionally, your brain needs adequate fatty acids to avoid cognitive issues. Effects of inadequate protein intake. If you consume too little protein, you may experience increased hunger and a larger appetite, leading to excessive calorie intake. Protein is crucial for muscle growth and maintenance, and insufficient intake can lead to muscle loss and a slower metabolism, resulting in a tendency to gain weight more easily. Overall, a balanced diet that includes adequate protein, fats, and carbohydrates is essential for effective muscle building and fat loss. Walking is perhaps the most accessible form of exercise, yet it's often overlooked when people are focused on weight loss or fat reduction. Despite its simplicity, walking can effectively help burn fat and maintain a healthy weight. Here's a look at why walking is more beneficial than many realize. Increased caloric expenditure. Adding a walking routine can significantly increase your daily caloric expenditure. For example, a 1-hour walk can burn approximately 400 calories. A year-long study found that participants who increased their daily steps by 1,000 without any dietary changes improved their leg strength, blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and even lost weight, including some visceral fat, and improved body composition. Unique advantages. Relaxed and low pressure. Walking is a low-impact activity, making it ideal for those recovering from injuries or older adults with minimal risk of injury. Weight-friendly. It's a simple and low decision cost exercise, meaning you don't need to commit heavily or face barriers to get started. It's easy to fit into any schedule. Complementary to high-intensity training. High-intensity strength training can lead to neural fatigue and training burnout. Walking offers a low-intensity recovery option, helping to alleviate muscle soreness and enhance recovery without compromising the quality of future workouts. Accessibility and flexibility. One of the biggest benefits of walking is that it's free and requires no special equipment. You can walk anywhere, anytime, without needing a gym or pool, making it a convenient option for many people. Incorporating walking into your daily routine can complement your other fitness efforts, support weight management, and improve overall well-being. When deciding whether to focus on muscle gain or fat loss, it's helpful to assess which of the following categories you fall into. Beginners. If you're new to training and have a lot of room for improvement, you can both build muscle and lose fat simultaneously through a calorie deficit. Simply put, if you're new to strength training, you're starting from a relatively lower level of muscle development. High body fat. If you have a substantial amount of body fat, you likely have enough energy reserves to support muscle growth even if you're in a slight calorie deficit. Your body can use existing fat stores to fuel muscle gains. Experienced lifters. If you've been training for a while and are working to regain lost muscle memory, you can build muscle while losing fat. If you're not in these categories, you can use BMI as a guide. If your BMI is over 24, focus on fat loss. If it's under 24, prioritize muscle gain. Steps to take. Determine your caloric intake. For muscle gain, aim for a slight caloric surplus, about 100 calories more than your daily expenditure. This small surplus is usually enough to build muscle without significantly increasing body fat, and if you have a high activity level, you might even see some fat loss. For fat loss, your caloric intake should be 20% 30% less than your daily expenditure. This deficit will use fat reserves to meet energy needs, including those required for muscle growth. Set macronutrient ratios. Protein. Consume about 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Protein is crucial for muscle repair and growth. Carbohydrates and fats. If you're on a low-carb diet, increase fat intake. Conversely, if you're eating more carbs, reduce fat intake. Adjust these ratios based on your diet preferences and goals. Follow progressive training. Increase weights gradually to ensure you're consistently challenging your muscles. The key to muscle growth is maintaining high and sustained mechanical tension. Avoid doing the same routine repeatedly. Cardio. While not essential, cardio can be beneficial. If you dislike cardio and have strict dietary control, you might not need additional calorie expenditure from cardio. Prioritize sleep. Quality sleep is crucial for muscle recovery and overall progress. Research indicates that a reduction of 40 minutes in sleep per night can increase muscle loss rates by 20% to 80%. Ensure you get adequate sleep to see better results from your efforts. Feel free to reach out if you have more questions. Good luck with your fitness journey. Determining your upper limit in natural bodybuilding involves considering several factors, with genetics being a key determinant. Here's a breakdown of how to understand and approach your potential. Genetics and bone structure. Genetics. Your genetic makeup plays a crucial role in muscle growth potential. Those with favorable muscle building genes can achieve more significant results with less effort. While genetics are important, they don't replace the need for proper diet, training, and sleep. Bone structure. A larger bone structure can support more muscle growth. Research shows that individuals with larger bones and joints often have greater muscle development. World-class bodybuilders and powerlifters typically have larger frames, predicting muscle growth potential. Height and body measurements. Some formulas use your height, ankle circumference, and body fat percentage to estimate muscle growth potential. Online tools and websites can help with these calculations. Birth weight. Studies suggest that high birth weight correlates with more developed muscles in adulthood. If you were a larger baby, you might have a greater potential for muscle growth. Finger ratios. A shorter index finger compared to the ring finger can indicate higher exposure to testosterone during development, which is associated with greater athletic potential. You can measure and compare these ratios as a rough estimate of potential. Effort over genetics. Regardless of genetic advantages or limitations, consistent effort in the gym and kitchen will help you maximize your potential. Focus on doing the right things consistently, and you can reach the peak of your genetic potential. Personal goals. Fitness is a personal journey. Comparing yourself to others can be counterproductive. Focus on being the best version of yourself and use your unique characteristics and efforts to reach your goals. Leverage your strengths. If you have strong genetic advantages, make sure to leverage them through discipline, training, and nutrition. Don't waste the opportunity. Use your natural gifts to their fullest potential. Ultimately, while genetics provide a baseline, your dedication and hard work are the most significant factors in achieving success in bodybuilding. Keep pushing and focusing on your own progress, and you'll reach your personal best.